Newsnight. An intellectual icon and struggle heroine. That's how Zondeni Sobukwe has been described since her passing last week. She was the wife of founding PAC President Robert Sobukwe. Tomorrow is the official memorial service for her. Joining us now via Skype, Thando Sipuye from the Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe Trust. Thando, thank you so much for your time on Newsnight tonight. But perhaps let's, before we talk about the memorial services that are going to be held in honor of Mama Sobukwe, you are one of the few people that have been writing about her in recent years. Talk to us about the journey and the kind of relationship that you actually enjoyed with her.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I certainly would like to first extend my deepest condolences to the Sobukwe and the Mate families on the passing of Mama Zondeni Veronica Sobukwe. I extend my special condolences to Sismiliswa Budinile Sizwe, as well as Dedani Sobukwe, the children of Mama and Bau Sobukwe. Indeed, certainly, I think I will start by saying that about 2 years ago, I was completely shocked to learn that Mama Sobukwe was still alive. And this is actually what drove me and compelled me to go on a concerted effort to try and write about Mama Sobukwe and inscribe her in our national memory. When I went online to try and search for any pieces of information on Mama Sobukwe, I could not find anything on Google besides a TRC report where she was speaking about the plight of Ubao Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe when he was incarcerated on Robben Island. And I felt so much pain seeing that even on sites such as South African History Online, on Wikipedia, there was absolutely nothing on Mama Sobukwe or her own biography or who she was. And it is from that very point that the journey began together with some of my colleagues at the Black House Collective. We made a journey to Grafreinet to meet Mama Zondeni Veronica Sobukwe to try, in fact, and get to know her better. And I certainly think that this is how my contact with Mama Sobukwe began. But even beyond then, I am someone who had been writing about Ubao Mangaliso Sobukwe's plight, his own marginalization, even in post-1994 South Africa. The very fact that, for example, we still do not have records of Sobukwe's voice. We do not have enough academic literature produced on Sobukwe. You do not have much that is said by even our artists on Mangaliso Sobukwe. However, there is even a greater marginalization when it comes to Mama Zondeni Veronica Sobukwe. Our approach to the telling of history, of political narratives in post-1994 South Africa is largely centered around male figures. We have a patriarchal and a narrow approach to the telling of history. Not only do we tell history from that narrow patriarchal perspective, but furthermore, our history telling is largely centered around one political trajectory. And so we only celebrate and laud only those leaders who come from the African Nationalist Congress. And rarely do we say much about a number of other ordinary people who contributed immensely towards the liberation struggle, members of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, members of the Black Consciousness Movement, beyond Bantu Stephen Biko. And so I think this has been the relationship that I have had with Mama Zondeni Veronica Sobukwe. But furthermore, I also think that it is very important that we also take this opportunity to tell who she was beyond her being just the wife of Ubao Sobukwe. Mama Zondeni Veronica Sobukwe, she was born on the 27th of July in 1927 in Hlobane village in Vryheid. And she is the second eldest of her parents were Kate Mate and Henry Stini Mate. And her parents, her father was a mine worker and her father was a teacher. She had her other three sisters were Umama Uhilda, Ugertrude, and Uvemba Florence. I think it is important that I mention the significance of Florence, the younger sister of Mama Sobukwe. She, interestingly, became married to Dr. Fabian Ribeiro. And you would know that the Ribeiro couple, Dr. Fabian and Mama Florence Ribeiro, were assassinated in 1986 for their political activism, as they were using their nursing and medical profession skills to help black people in the black community pro bono. And the Ribeiro couple used to visit Uba Sobukwe in prison in Robben Island, together with Mama Zondeni Veronica Sobukwe, when he was incarcerated on Robben Island under the Sobukwe clause. And so there is a significant relationship that one has Mama Sobukwe with Mama Sobukwe's activism. Right there.
Thando, unfortunately, I'm going to have to interject there because, you know, there's quite a bit of excuse me, there's some extensive history that you've managed to squeeze in there just to give us context of who Mama Sobukwe actually was. And I'm hoping that before we get to that official state funeral, we'll have an opportunity to unpack more of her life and even more of her legacy. Unfortunately, that's all we've had time for this evening. Thando Sipuye, he is from the Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe Trust, and there's certainly a conversation that we need to continue.